Welcome to your English Listening Challenge. Ready to test your ears? Your English level? Let's see how many answers you can get right. This one is going to be long, but hey, if you want to study abroad, you better get used to those long university lectures. So grab your headphones, a piece of paper, and a pencil to take notes. And maybe keep a bottle of water nearby, or even some sugar, just in case your brain gives up after a few tricky questions. Let's begin.
Good morning, everyone. Today we're going to talk about something that happens to all of us: forgetting. Many people believe that forgetting is simply a sign of a bad memory, but psychologists have discovered that the reality is much more complicated. In fact, forgetting is often a normal and even useful function of the human brain. Let's begin with a simple example. Imagine that you meet 10 new people at a conference. By the next morning, you can probably remember only a few of their names. Does this mean your memory is poor? Not necessarily. Your brain is constantly deciding which information is worth keeping and which information can safely be discarded. If it tried to store every tiny detail of every day, it would quickly become overwhelmed. Researchers generally describe three main reasons why we forget information. The first is called encoding failure. This happens when information never enters long-term memory in the first place. Think about how many times you've looked at a coin without noticing what's actually printed on it. You see the coin almost every day, but because your brain doesn't consider the details important, it doesn't fully process them. As a result, you may struggle to describe the coin accurately, even though you've seen it hundreds of times. The second reason is known as storage decay. According to this theory, memories gradually weaken over time if they aren't used. Imagine learning a foreign language during high school and then never speaking it again for 20 years. Even though you once knew hundreds of words, many of them may slowly disappear because the neural connections become weaker. However, scientists now believe that complete decay is less common than they once thought. Often, the information is still somewhere in the brain, but becomes difficult to access. This brings us to the third explanation, which is called retrieval failure. In this case, the memory still exists, but you simply can't find it at the right moment. Have you ever forgotten someone's name only to remember it several hours later while taking a shower or driving home? That's a classic example of retrieval failure. The information wasn't lost, your brain just couldn't reach it immediately. Another interesting factor is emotion. Strong emotions can either strengthen or weaken memories. Exciting or meaningful events, such as a graduation or a wedding, are often remembered very clearly for many years. On the other hand, extreme stress can interfere with memory formation. Students sometimes experience this during important exams. They study for weeks, yet when they sit down to take the test, their minds suddenly go blank. Later, once they relax, the information often returns. Sleep also plays a surprisingly important role in memory. During sleep, especially deep sleep, the brain organizes and strengthens newly learned information. Several studies have found that students who sleep well after studying generally remember more than those who stay awake all night. Although it may seem productive to spend the entire night reviewing notes, sacrificing sleep often reduces performance the next day. Technology has also changed the way we remember things. Since smartphones can store phone numbers, appointments, and directions, many people rely less on their own memory. Some psychologists call this the digital memory effect. Instead of remembering the information itself, people often remember where they can find it. While this can make daily life more convenient, researchers are still debating whether long-term dependence on technology affects our natural memory abilities. Fortunately, there are several effective ways to improve memory. One method is called spaced repetition, which involves reviewing information several times over increasing intervals instead of studying everything in one session. Another technique is creating associations between new information and something you already know. For example, if you meet someone named Rose, you might picture them holding a bouquet of roses. These mental connections make retrieval easier later. Finally, it's important to remember that forgetting isn't always a problem. In some situations, forgetting actually helps us. Imagine remembering every single conversation, every advertisement you've ever seen, or every mistake you've ever made. Your brain would be filled with unnecessary information, making it harder to focus on what truly matters. In other words, forgetting allows the brain to stay efficient by prioritizing useful information over less important details. So the next time you forget where you left your keys or can't remember someone's name immediately, don't assume your memory is failing. It may simply be doing exactly what it was designed to do.
Did you survive this listening challenge? Tell me your score below. I promise I won't judge you. I struggled too. Oh, I almost forgot. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more.